They told me for years there was no money in podcasting. Well, they were all wrong.
We do. But to your point too, it took me a long time to actually like what I was putting out, and that's just not because of like what we were talking about, how we were talking about. It's more from like a technical perspective of quality in my mind. And like, it took me almost 3 years to get to 100 episodes for Kings of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it took around 100 where I was happy with where we were from a technical perspective with the equipment, recording. And I was still missing a final piece, which is what I'm doing now, which is recording on multi-track.
Yeah.
That's been a gold mine since I started podcasting. It took me 5 years to get there.
Yeah, man, I really got to get on that. We're still doing single track, and I have to line the two of them up, dude. I feel like a caveman.
Yeah. I mean, look, like Zoom can let you record. There's some things out there that let you record on separate tracks. I haven't tried it with Zoom yet, because I don't need to. But you can record a Zoom call with separate audio tracks, which I think is so important for podcasting. It makes it a bit of a bitch to edit, for an editor. So it's just like, if I'm doing a cheap edit for someone else, but yeah, I just don't. But if someone actually pays me to do more work, I'll be like, yeah, just split the audio tracks and I'll make it sound better.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the art form of it, man. I mean, like, I didn't even really learn what noise reduction was until like our 20th episode, you know? So you go back and listen, and I'm like, why did I let all these plosives and fan noise in there? You know what I mean?
There's still so much I need to learn with audio editing and video editing. And vMix. I'm loving learning vMix. It's a great fucking tool.
Yeah, no, vMix is dope, man. And that was kind of my own thing with my own work is, you know, I really started getting into video editing and audio editing, and video editing is such a giant pool that you kind of have to dive into, that I found I really enjoyed the audio portion of it because it felt a little more accessible again. And then I just like really started to get into like the actual processing of the audio, you know, not just editing out oohs and ums and keeping the pacing up and like removing stutters and stuff, but like make it compression, you know, that's a massive thing in any audio production. It's just making sure that when someone's listening to it, they don't have to turn the volume up and down because they're blowing out their eardrums, you know, or stuff like equalization, you know, where you just take someone's voice and you're like, hey, these frequencies make your voice sound better, let's up those, you know. I think that stuff is like so cool.
Well, editing audio, it's more, I think of it like it's 2D, right?
Yeah.
It's very flat. It's very what you're doing. It makes more sense to me. Video is 3D because you're doing audio and video. Then you got like After Effects and graphic design. That motherfucker, that shit's 4D. Animation.
Yeah.
One day I'll get into. Like, I have the full Adobe suite. I just gotta go through all the tutorials. I went through like a lot of Illustrator, which was really cool. But it's like I don't have the artistic eye. Like I know I know what I want, but I need people to create it for me using the products I don't know how to use.
Yeah, no, dude, I've spent some time in Adobe Illustrator as well, and I just like I am so bad at drawing or like anything like that. My brain just like it's hard to look at something and like realize how to make it. And what I've noticed about tutorials on YouTube, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like almost all the Illustrator tutorials are like people with no dialogue and background music and then just clicking around the screen going mad fast. And I'm like,
I can't watch this.
I don't know.
This is less helpful.
Yeah.
You would make me more confused because it's like, and then you got his check because like if a video's from 2017 and I have a 2022 Illustrator, it's stuff's formatted differently.
Yeah,
so it's like you gotta make sure it's up to date, which is just like. But I love YouTube tutorials, but Adobe has a lot of tutorials on their website, which is super helpful with videos accompanying them, and they give you all the assets. So like it's Adobe. Anytime someone it's like what should I use to edit, I go Adobe. Hands down, it's worth the money. 1,000% worth the money.
Yeah, well, just the way that they're all linked to, I really enjoy. Like, you know, you can create something in Premiere and then you can link any clip to it straight to After Effects, and it kind of just like the workflow of it definitely, to me at least, feels a lot more kind of accessible for, you know, learning how to do it. That's another kind of regret I have from college is like I learned how to do Avid and I learned how to do Adobe, but I didn't really go full swing into it. And then when in like the wake of the pandemic, when I moved back home, that's when I was like, okay, I'm back in New Hampshire. The easiest thing I can do is work from home and like really garner these skills. And now it's 2 years later and I feel like I can actually edit a podcast, you know? So even with the production stuff, it's really about what you want to kind of focus towards because there's so much of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I don't know, man. It's a tough world out there. It's a tough world out there. Take it day by day. I like editing. I'm going to continue editing. I like podcasting. I'm going to continue podcasting.